Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Daily Blues here on 100% Chelsea. All the latest transfer news and other news to do with Chelsea Football Club. Today I'm joined with the normal guys, Tony and Daniel, son of Chelsea, and we've got Big Tom on as well. Say hello, lads.
Hello.
What's up?
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Anytime, mate. Right. First things first, we have to focus on what's happened this afternoon. Now, 12:30, which was about, 3.5 hours ago, Jose Mourinho came up with his press conference and mentioned quite a few points, obviously involving Eva Cuadrado, John Fern, that whole debacle going on around Chelsea at the moment, and some other points as well, which we'll get to. But first, we're going to have to, once again, speak about Eva and John Fern. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to speak about this anymore. I just want it to die, but we have to. Jose's comments were interesting. What do you make of them? I'm going to start with Tony. First things first, he has said that Eva and Fern won't be there on Sunday, but the door is open for them to be there in the future. They're not wiped out completely.
No, and it's his choice, isn't it? That's that's basically what he's saying. Look, it was a well-awaited press conference where it was a packed house, and the very first question is about the Eva scenario, and he went in a very long-winded sort of way of answering it, and basically coming to the point that they won't be there at Manchester City, and I've had loads of tweets basically saying please don't talk about it, but it is a bit Yawnsville now, isn't it? I just kind of want it done, I think everything needs to be put into perspective. Every man and his dog has got something to say about the whole situation. To see Mr. Wenger has come out and gone on about the lack of unity and stuff like that. It just gives everyone an opportunity to have a pop at us. Yeah. When, to be fair, like I said to you, if you closed your eyes and thought about the whole situation and took the Eva part of it away, it's nothing.
It wouldn't be an issue. Yeah.
I don't think it would be. I mean, it's an issue. Clearly, we've already stated that he made a mistake by going public, and she made a mistake, and it's just, it's very, very unfortunate. But like we said, it's completely taken the emphasis away from the performance last weekend and the game, between the champions and the former champions. So maybe that's great. But
it has its plus
personally,
side.
I've had enough of it all now. I kind of hope it's now going to get put to bed.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's got plenty of choices to make, and he's made his decision.
Yeah.
Focus
on City now, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean the other points obviously were about the transfer window, but I'll take it we're going to talk about that a bit later.
Yeah, we will mention that because Jose did speak about transfers, which is good. But also Daniel, what do you make? Are you happy to see that Eva and Fern, they're not wiped out completely. They do have a chance to come back. It's just for now. It's just for Sunday, and then afterwards we'll see what happens. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say on this. I mean, I could just say no comment. That's really because I don't really know what to add to this. The only thing I would say about Arsene Wenger, just what a mug. Why is he opening his mouth? Worry about your own team. Worry about your goalkeeper who comes out flying out. Makes you concede 2 goals. I mean, worry about that. I mean, I don't know. No comment on either. That's it.
that's it. Tom, what's your view on it, mate?
I'm glad he came out and spoke about it. I think we all love Jose, innit? He came out, he spoke about it very well. Sort of, I wanted to just put my brain past it, like Tony said. I can't be bothered to think about it no more. And I think Jose done it today in a perfect way.
Yeah.
What's the first thing he said? He said that he had a meeting with the medical staff yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
And he said, what did he say? That in the last 2 years they've never been praised as much as they've been praised by Jose.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've gone from him being slating off his medical team to them never being praised as much before. So I thought that was a good way of kind of putting that to bed about disrupt in the back room. What else did he say? Where did he go from there?
Well, he did mention as well that there's a great relationship between him and the medical staff and everyone at the club. And
Yeah, he
he's also
spoke
said,
about the board as well, and that, and
yep,
management with the communication between the owner and the board with him.
yeah.
It seems like everything, well, from what he said, it seems like everything is working well.
I mean,
And there's nothing to worry about. You know what I mean?
yeah. What he's done, you can tell, he's just taken everything that's negative and he's just put a whole positive spin on it, and he's just made everything completely positive.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, to reassure everyone.
And the principles are, I'm the governor.
Exactly. He makes the decisions. Yeah.
It's my choice. I've made a decision. We've dealt with it.
Yeah.
Job done. You're all here to come for a story and to create something more and to try and open me up in the whole situation. Anyone that's here, you know, for non-footballing reasons, you may as well leave.
Yeah, exactly.
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 You know, brilliant, really.
I like the fact that he talked about, well, it hasn't affected our preparation at all for Man City. It was all done in a meeting yesterday, just before the press conference, and that's as far as we've gone with it as a club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he made the decision. He's the gaffer, isn't he?
He is.
Not more you can say much about that. He wasn't happy, so now 2 other professionals will be on the bench. That's how far as it goes, and I'm happy with that. You know what I mean?
I can't complain. I love the fact that he's come out and said all of that. He's also said, and I want to take your point on this because this is the point that everyone seems to be focusing on that's got nothing to do with Chelsea. All the neutrals, all the papers, all the media are focusing on the fact that they're saying Jose was the one who made the mistake. In the press conference today, Jose said he's open to mistakes, he's open to communication, he knows he's not perfect, but that's the beauty of having, you know, the team that we do, not just the footballers, but the medical staff and, you know, everyone at the club. It's the fact everyone's so open with each other that they can discuss this between them. And Jose said yesterday with the medical team, someone from the medical team stated that, you know what, we're going to have disagreements, but let's make disagreements together and let's improve together. What do you make of that itself? You know, what's your view, Daniel?
I think it is good to hear that they have that relationship at the club. One thing that I've always noticed about Jose Mourinho, like teams, and something he's always done at Chelsea from the first reign and the second reign, is have real, like almost like a family, you know. And I think he's been able to create that at Chelsea, and it's something that he's able at doing. And it's good to hear that. It's good to hear that they may be allowed back in the future. And the fact is that people do at the club feel open to go and speak to him. You know, that's what you want. I feel that Jose is very good at deflecting criticism from the team. He's definitely done that this year. We've spoken about this week. Sorry, we've spoken about that in previous daily. And you know, I think come Sunday, I think, you know, he's brilliant before these games of creating something and having a media storm, and then going into the game having a good tactical plan. But that's mostly, I'm just more, I think, like all of us, we're just more focused on the game on Sunday now. I think all this stuff about even the medical team and Jose, it's just it's gotten a little bit tiresome.
Yeah.
He also said, didn't he, that some people, you know, are more obsessed. Well, not obsessed, but, you know, they want to be on the bench, and some people it's not so much of an issue. Yeah. It's his decision. He's made it, and he hasn't ruled out that she won't be back on the bench again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So it's I mean it's classic Jose, and it's just wrapped up, isn't it? Done. You know, it's done. But you know, all those people that have turned up today, and obviously, you know, for that press conference, they're all there for one reason, to sensationalise the whole situation and make it bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
Which they've done a pretty good job up to this time. But now they're probably going home thinking, damn, you know.
We've left with nothing.
yeah. But go down with it. You know,
the talk has been now more about transfers, like you said. Oscar being out, so who's going to be in the lineup? That's what the sort of main conversation went to after that. So I think he actually did a very, very good job at the press conference.
Brilliant.
In sort of putting it to bed. You know what I mean?
It's what we said yesterday as well, didn't we, lads? You know, I mentioned Jose's tomorrow at the press conference. He's going to control them. He's going to get them exactly where he wants them, and it's going to die at the press conference. And that's what he's done. He's literally killed this whole medical team, you know, BS. you know, and it's just stopped. Now the focus is on City. So credit to him.
He had that pre-fight face on as well, didn't he? You know that that swig of water and look around and sort of bring it on.
He owned the room. You know what I mean?
You know. That's why he's brilliant.
It is. But right. Hopefully, this is the last we're going to talk about this whole issue. Okay?
Yeah, please.
Us as Chelsea Football Club, as Chelsea fans, we're happy with the way the club's going. We're happy with having Mourinho back as our manager. We're happy with our medical staff. We're happy with our players. We're happy. Leave us alone, everyone else, and that's including Arsene Wenger. You know, the other point of that press conference was transfers, because he spoke about it, and he's come out and said that our business might not actually be done. He said the transfer window ends on the 31st of August. So up until then, we're not sure what's going to happen. We thought it was done. Now it doesn't seem like it's done. What's your view on it, Tone?
Well, he said something, but he hasn't, if you follow where I'm coming from, he hasn't ruled it out or ruled it in.
Yeah.
But all he's basically doing is stating the fact that, you know, the window shuts at that time, so therefore you can't really ask any questions with regards to whether we're going to do something or whether we're not going to do something, because it's not over yet. But for me, I guess what it's saying is don't rule us out of anything, which is great, because I've always felt all along, I think you have too, haven't you, Eunice, that there's a big one. You know, there'll be something, you know, which we'll all be pretty happy with, you know, because it has been quiet, you know, and you know, you know, I suppose we won't know until it's done, you know.
Deadline day, who knows?
Well, that's right, that's right. But you know, we know that Ramirez and we know that Cuadrado's obviously linked with Juventus. It's funny, I think I picked up that Everton are looking at, I think, a defender at AC, maybe. That's with a view to the Stones situation.
Yep.
You know, I see Pellegrini's also come out. They need 2 more players to compete with us. I see they're linked with Pedro too. Have you seen that?
Apparently so, yeah. So United might have it hard now. But you know, that's their issue. I think City will sign 2 more players. I can see it. It's City that they'll splash out however much they have to get their guys. So
I heard that the Man City link was sort of a way to push Pedro, Man United, to put the money in for Pedro, the 30 million buyout clause. So they just put their rumours out there. So now Man United say, you know what, we want him. Let's pay the 30 million and get him in. That was the report that I heard.
Well, it's a good bit. It's a good way to get them coughing up more money, I guess, isn't it? You know.
They always do that.
Man United are doing that with us, with Stones, then, or?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Well, Dan, your view on possibly our transfer business not being done now? We thought it was. Now it's
Yeah, I think everyone kind of agrees, whether you're very extreme in terms of you want more transfers, or maybe you're someone who thinks, yeah, we don't need that many, but we still need a couple. You know, I think this is going to please everyone to hear from Jersey. I think it was pretty much, you can look at the evidence that Chelsea was still going in for John Stones on Tuesday, putting in another bid, Rahman, Kennedy. So we're still very active in the transfer market. I think, like, just looking, I can only look at the targets we're linked with. I think if we can go out and sign John Stones by the end of this transfer window and have Rahman announced this weekend or by Monday, you know, and go out and sign John Stones, I think people would be happy. I think if we could somehow enter ourselves into the race for Pedro, which doesn't look like it, but then Jose, I mean, you never know. I mean, as we were saying yesterday, I mean, transfers can happen so quickly over, you know, so someone could become available, a player could go to one club, and that leaves a space available for another player to come to us. You never know, so it'll be interesting. But I think it's positive news, definitely.
Yeah. Well, one rumor that I've heard, and this came last night. As soon as we went off air, I read this, and it got me thinking because we're talking about Cuadrado, and we've mentioned him. Tom mentioned him. Apparently, Kennedy, because now Kennedy's been given his work permit, he's going to be part of the squad. Apparently, he is more in favour, chosen by Jose ahead of Cuadrado.
And me.
Yeah.
It's told
yeah,
Cuadrado he's not getting any games.
Well, Kennedy will get more, for now. Let's just say that. What are your view on that? Would you put Kennedy ahead of Cuadrado, or would you give Cuadrado the chance now that he's meant to be settled? We'll start with Tom.
In terms of Kennedy, I mean, I saw him play against Barcelona. I was very impressed with him. Standout thing that he done in that game was play a nice long ball forward. I think it was to Diego. Perfect pass, and that was enough. For me to say he's better than Cuadrado. I think everyone, well, if you know me and know my videos, I'm tired of Cuadrado. From the beginning, I thought he was never going to be good. I got slack, but I guess everyone's jumping on the bandwagon now. But yeah, what I heard about Cuadrado is that he might, Juventus would be happy with a loan move for him if they fail to get any other targets. That pleases me. I like Kennedy from what I saw. Obviously, we haven't seen enough from him. But I suppose you can tell, like Jose said, within 10 minutes whether someone's going to be really good or he's not going to really make it. You know what I mean? I just don't think Cuadrado's really settled in the squad, and I don't know whether he's had troubles settling in England. I'm not sure. But yeah, I prefer Kennedy to Cuadrado, and I'd like to see him play a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, season, I mean, definitely.
Dan, what view? Kennedy ahead of Cuadrado?
Looking at form and looking at that 45 minutes or whatever he played against Barca, I think not only just the attacking stuff he did, but just the defensive work. Tracking back, I think he looked powerful, he looks explosive, and that's what we need. Wingers who, I think we discussed this last night, was about right wing. I think that definitely that position, the right wing, is still open. And I think if Kennedy could come in, have another good performance, maybe score a goal, I think he could potentially take that role, because if you can have someone who's scoring goals and helping out defensively, you have Hazard on one wing and maybe Kennedy on the left. I'm a big fan of William, but just on Cuadrado, I mean, I kind of feel sorry for Cuadrado in a way. I understand Tom and a lot of people why they don't like Cuadrado. I feel it was very difficult for him coming in. I think I was very excited when he came in after what I'd seen him do in the World Cup. I think when you come in the January transfer window, and I always go back to Torres. I say Torres, when he signed for Chelsea on the 31st, he was training at Liverpool that morning, and the next Sunday he's playing against Liverpool for Chelsea. Yeah. It is so difficult coming in the January transfer window. You have no time to settle. You get thrown into the team. He's come from to a country that he's never played in before. New environment. So he has very little time to settle in a team that was settled and going for a league title. I remember when we won the League Cup, he looked very out of place. He was kind of celebrating, but because he hadn't been part of the squad, and of course the way football is now, if you don't make that certain impact straight away, you're not going to be in the team. As I've said, I think that just whatever we think about Cuadrado, looking at the signs of what Jose has done, it looks like Cuadrado is on the way out, which is for me sad. I don't think he was really given much of a chance, but hey, what are you going to do about it? And I would have Kennedy in front of him.
Yeah. Tom?
Yeah, I'd go with that, 100%. The kid looks really, really good. And I've seen a lot of his, obviously some, YouTube videos, etc. He looks class, doesn't he? Cuadrado, I mean, for me, it just seems a little bit weak in the tackle. And sometimes I feel like he almost runs around like headless chicken, and then he gets so far and he checks back and he stops, and it's like he kind of doesn't know what to, But then he hasn't had that many opportunities, so maybe you could say, well, like you were suggesting that this season would be his year because he'd link up better with Falcao. But I kind of get the impression that Mourinho, it's not for him. I think he's looked at him and he's thought, no. So, 100%. I'm happy with Kennedy.
Who's being shot? Someone's getting shot.
I've got something. I don't know actually. Something.
Maybe it's Cuadrado.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with this whole Cuadrado situation, he got brought in, and we know that he has talent. It's just he hasn't been able to express it. He hasn't been able to show it for whatever reason. I just think he can't settle in well. But if you look at it now, we've got Kennedy in as well. In terms of wingers, we have Hazard, Willian, Cuadrado, Moses, Kennedy, Traore. 6 wingers. You know, what I read about this whole Kennedy thing being ahead of Cuadrado is that this might pave the way for Traore to move out on loan. Now, I don't know what will happen, but would you rather Cuadrado leave and Moses become the backup along with Kennedy maybe for Hazard if he can play on the left, or he's just another backup, Traore backup for Hazard, or would you let Traore go out on loan and keep Cuadrado as a backup as well? Tom.
I like Moses. I think Moses done really well in pre-season. I think he warrants a place in the squad this season. Kennedy, I mean, we have got a history of buying young Brazilian players and sending them straight on loan. When you're looking at Nathan, who's gone out, you just bought him in and he's gone out. Wallace. Where is Wallace, actually? That right back, isn't he? I don't know where he is. Is he on loan? Is he in Milan?
He's at Betis, I think. Or is he? He was at Betis last season.
I think so.
I liked him when he first came. I thought he was a good right back, good prospect. But,
all I know is that he did speak about Mourinho about 2 days ago. I did see Wallace speak about Mourinho and said that he's a quality manager and a quality man to work under, and he can't wait to get back and start, being involved. So that's great. That's great to hear from Wallace.
Yeah, but so in terms of Kennedy, I wouldn't be upset to see him come in and go straight on loan somewhere next season. So I personally would have. Obviously, we got Willian and Hazard, our main wingers. I'd like to have Moses and Bertrand Traore as our backups. The reason why I say Bertrand Traore is because he's already been out on loan. It's time to start bringing these players back from loan, start giving them chances in the squad, and promoting them and getting them forward and pushing them. Because I remember watching Bertrand Traore last season in pre-season, and he just looked quality. I thought, this looks like a player that can really step up and play well for us. And he went out on loan, obviously, and now it seems like he's in the squad, which I'm happy about, and I hope he just gets chances. So, in terms of our wingers, like I said, Hazard and Willian Main, and then Bertrand Traore and Moses as our backup. Is that enough, or do you need another one, the fifth one?
No.
Bale.
He loves Bale. He loves Bale. Well, Tone, would you stick with that?
Well, I don't know. Like you said, we've got 2 weeks to. Well, we've got 2 weeks to go, haven't we? I don't really know. I really don't know what to make of it. Part of me, I want to get a couple of stellar names in. You know that. I feel, that's what we need. It's almost like you plug the kids in and you run the risk of perhaps. I mean, let me ask you a question. Are you prepared to write off a season, or not write off a season, but not have the guaranteed that you'll finish, first, like win the title, but see those kids come through, like, almost take a step backwards to go forwards, or do you want it instant, or do you want it guaranteed, i.e., go out and get those, those stellar names?
I think it wouldn't be a catastrophe if we missed out, say, 1 year and we saw quality players come through our youth team, because it is time, and that's why Mourinho is staying long term this time. To try and get those youth players through, to try and build a dynasty, to try and get Chelsea with a. But
Manchester City, for example, they've got half decent youth, set up, haven't they? They've got some good kids. Can you see them playing in their first team?
No. See, with City, no.
No. But it's what we want. I mean, it's back to that same old question.
So is the day of the academy gone then? The day of bringing players through the academy and promoting them into the first team gone then?
Well, I mean, we got the best youth team in the nation. You know, pretty
Yeah.
much. We're European champions. We won the youth cup.
But what would that mean if no one comes through? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
What would that mean?
exactly,
Right.
and that's
So
why.
Gary Neville said that, didn't he? He said he has to bring them through. He has to.
Yeah.
It'd be criminal, you know. This is they've walked it, you know, League Cup, you know, Champions League, youth, you know. But it's, you know, I've heard you say before, Eunice, you know, you'd rather have someone with you know, it's guaranteed.
Well, no, I'd like a mix, and I don't want the youth rushed through. That's the one mistake other clubs have done. That's the one mistake this country has, is that we rush them too fast, and then suddenly they think they're superstar, and they're not. They're average, and they think they're better than they actually are, and then they plummet. It's just, you know, we've seen loads of examples. I don't want Chelsea to go down that route. I want us to take time, you know, get them through slowly but surely. Maybe in about 4 years or so, we'll see a few of them in the starting lineup, or maybe in the team itself, you know, part of the main squad, and that will make sure, for the long run, for the next decade or so, we'll have a great team with players who have come from our youth team who deserve it. So,
I think as well. I mean, you look at like the example. I mean, it's the only really example we have of a player who's come through the Chelsea youth system recently, and it's John Terry. And if you look at John Terry when he first came through the youth system, Chelsea didn't just throw him in there. You know, I think it was a case of kind of bedding him in there at first. You know, and that's what you've got to do with these youth players. I see it too. I know the Harry Kane example is very rare, and the problem is with Harry Kane had an amazing season last year. There's just no doubting that. But the problem is, what happens with the media is they all lose their you-know-whats, and just like they put so much into this player, and then when he doesn't deliver what they say, they put him up to high standards. I think the media's got to take a big responsibility in bigging up these players to a standard that they're just not up to. So I think Loftus-Cheek, you've got to bring through the right ones. I think Loftus-Cheek has done enough for me. He's impressed me enough to think he deserves more starting chances.
Yeah.
I think we can start him in League Cup, start him in FA Cup, bring him in Champions League games where maybe we're at home to one of the lesser Champions League teams, like he did against Sporting. So bed him in slowly. Don't just throw him in against Liverpool. I know he did last season. Fine, that's a bad example. Like throw him in against City on Sunday. For me, that's a bad thing to do.
Exactly.
You've got to slowly do it, because I think Loftus-Cheek has probably the best chance of getting in than anyone I've seen in the last 10 years. You know, in my opinion, just looking at the strength he has, just looking at what he does, his stats with ball possession and pass completion are just ridiculous for someone of his age, and seeing how he, out of probably when England, the under 21s, was it the Euros, under 21 championships in the summer? Harry Kane, they're talking about Harry Kane, Danny Ings. For me, Loftus-Cheek was probably their best player, you know.
True. Tom, what would you do with our youth? You know, would you rush them through, or would you take your time?
You got to take your time with them. I'm not saying we rush them in. I'm not saying next season we got 10 new players in our first team. We take our time with them. We filtered in the right ones. Obviously, not everyone's up to the par to be a Chelsea player. But we've got to start. There's no point of spending so much money on a youth system that doesn't produce no first-team players. And that's how I feel about it. But also, I wanted to say, in terms of buying players instead of producing youth players through and bringing them into the side, there's no point in buying say for example, a Pogba in central midfield. If Pogba comes in and plays alongside Matic for the next 5 to 10 years, when is Loftus-Cheek going to play? When is he going to get a chance to play? Because we've got Matic and Pogba in the team now. They're young, they're still themselves. I mean, they're not as young as Loftus-Cheek, but they've got at least about 5-10 years in them at least. So that's my only problem. We've got to start thinking about making little sacrifices instead of buying the big. Of course, I'd love Bale and I love Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi and Griezmann. They're all good players. But I personally, in my personal belief, is I prefer to bring someone through and nurture them and make them become the next Bale, the next Pogba, the next Messi or whatever it is. That's my opinion about it.
Oh, brilliant. fingers crossed. And I'm sure, I'm positive, the board and the club, Jose staying long term. I'm sure we'll see a lot of them come through.
Balance. That's all it is, isn't it? It's balance. Finding the balance right. You still want to compete, don't you? I mean, that's the whole point. There's no point in blooding them all in and then finishing. What's the point of that? You've got to be realistic here. It's got to balance. Is the right word, I think.
I think looking at one player who I thought, considering Arsenal, I think I don't know, he's gone on loan to West Brom now. A player who I really rate, Serge Gnabry, sorry. Yeah. He was brought through in their youth system, and they kind of played him at certain points, didn't play him for every game, brought him on at certain times, and he really looked like he looked like a player that was going to really develop. Unfortunately, got an injury, but now he's gone on loan to West Brom, and that was a good example of bringing a player through, I think. And if Chelsea can do a bit more of that, I think we were all very excited when we saw Loftus-Cheek on that team sheet later on in last season. I think he didn't put a foot wrong against Liverpool for me, and against West Brom it was the same. So I mean, I think only the ones with top quality can come through, but we have got a few, and I think looking as well at Loftus-Cheek, I think Dominic Solanke, I'd like to see him. Unfortunately, he went out on loan, but hopefully he can develop through that season. So
yeah, no, that's true, and I fully agree with that. I fully agree. Let's wait and see what happens, and let's wait and see who ends up coming through. But I'm sure
our team for Man City, 100% Chelsea's teams could be affected, Eunice.
It could be, because Oscar is a doubt now. It doesn't mean he might not. It doesn't mean he's not going to play. He's just a doubt, so he might end up playing. But he's the only one that's picked up a little nibble in training. It looks like Fabregas could make the fold in that case if we do play Zuma in defensive mid. Or it might mean Williams shifts to the middle and we end up having, I don't know, Cuadrado or Moses on the right-hand side. But, I don't know, what way would you go with that?
Fabregas. Over up, yeah.
Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, I did a preview for the Man City game, and I think I was kind of, Oscar being a doubt, I was going to put Oscar there on course, but I think it's hard to keep Fabregas out of the team, the quality he has. So you've got to put Fabregas there for me, especially just the talent he has.
Well, Costa's fit, so it'd be good to have Fabregas behind him. I don't know, Tom, would you go Fabregas or would you shift William to the middle?
Nah, Fabregas has got to be the one. Or if you put William in the middle, you got to put Moses on the right, innit?
Yeah. Well, another piece of team news, and this isn't to do with us, it's to do with City. Aguero is a doubt.
50-50, isn't he? Yeah.
But it looks like they're going to rush him just so he can play. So if he does play, I don't think he'll be 100%, but I think he will play. I don't know. Are you worried of that? Are you worried if Aguero is playing, even though he's not 100%? Tom?
I don't know if they'll rush him. I don't think they want to risk any further injuries. But if he does play, he's a good player. But we've got an adequate defence to deal with him. Our defence is probably the best in England. We can deal with it.
What do you think, Tom, of the 100% putting the... We chose Zuma to play alongside Matic.
Yeah,
I'd go along with that. He done well last season when he played there, didn't he?
He did.
Was it last season or the season before? He done a job. I like Zuma. Very versatile.
Yeah,
I think we need someone strong there. If it's not him, it's going to have to be Matic. Matic and Mikel.
Yeah,
it's either Mikel or Zuma, I think. It's got to be one of them.
Lord Mikel.
If we're nicking it 1-0, Mikel will come on, won't he? And then we've got the 3-0 in midfield.
That's definitely happening. Listen, if we go 1-0 up, and we're hitting the 80th minute, Mikel will come on.
Yeah. And good. We want him on then.
Yeah, I'd be begging to bring him on. Daniel, Aguero, not 100%.
So I've just got this picture on my mind of Mikel coming on at the 80th minute, all the Chelsea fans going like that to him. Of course, Aguero, they'd be doing the opposite actually. Why is Mikel coming on? That's probably what most people would say. No, I think when you have a striker like Aguero, a world-class talent, I mean, we've seen with Diego at points when he's not even fully fit that he can still bang in a goal. Aguero's record against Chelsea recently hasn't been that good. I think last season played against us twice, didn't score a goal. And I think he scored. I think the season before he scored 1 goal against us. But we kept him really quiet last season. A lot was made last season of how Company kept Costa quiet, but not a lot was made about how Terry and Cahill kept Aguero quiet. And I think a lot is going to have to do with, especially in these big games, to do with a midfield battle of how. Yeah, I think if we can shut down Yaya Toure and shut down David Silva, I think that's going to be a real key in beating Man City on Sunday. I think if we can shut down those two players, really stop the power and the fluidity of their play in midfield, I think it. Of course, they've got now Sterling on the wing, which is of course a threat. But I think if we can stop them to because they like to get into a rhythm, and if we can stop them to, I think as we saw when we beat them 1-0 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? No, I think it was.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago.
Back,
Yeah.
That a lot of that was how Matic stopped Yaya Toure, and if he can have a performance like that, but I mean Aguero with the talent he's sort of got, I think he could be at 20% and still do a decent job.
Well, I mean, someone made a good comment. Draw My Face says, good username again. He said, with the chances that Gomez had on the weekend against us for Swansea, if we're going to be that open, if Aguero's going to have those sort of chances, he's going to tear us apart. Do you agree?
True.
That goal he scored against us at the Bridge season before last, I was right behind the goal, and I couldn't believe the swerve on it. He's a class player. There's no two ways about it. We don't want to be giving him no space. So that's absolutely right. I mean, we allowed Swansea too much space. And
that's one
you
thing
could argue that, like I said, they took their best player off. I thought Gomez, Gary Monk, he shut that game down. Really, he thought I'll take the point here.
Yeah, exactly.
Where he could have actually effectively gone for the win, really.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Also, Man City don't have a Lampard to save them this season at the Etihad, did they?
Yep. Finally.
Is there any news, Eunice, on because the tickets were on Channel Sale, weren't there? Have they managed to get rid, or any news on that, mate?
Tickets on general sale at Man City.
Yeah.
For City Chelsea. For City Chelsea, they got tickets on sale.
Yeah.
What happened yesterday at 6 p.m. on their supporters' Twitter page? They put tickets are now on general sale, and at 10 p.m. while we were doing Daily Blues, they were still on general sale, mate.
No, that's sad, really, isn't it?
They should just give us the tickets. Just let us play it. It's solid. Right.
Not a Northern Chelsea, maybe they've snapped those up.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to send about 20 coaches to the Etihad. Right, we'll get some comments. Adnan's wrote a really good one here. He's just gone, the human full-time whistle, Mikel. I'm sure all of you agree with that. Baba Rahman, just before we do get to the comment, has apparently had his medical and it's gone well. Are you excited, Tony?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I said that yesterday. It seems to have gone on forever, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
So the medical's gone good today.
Looks like it.
Is that deal done then? Absolutely deal done.
Nothing official, but it looks like it looks like it's about to be done. So I don't know. Dan.
Well, we need a left back, and he's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke about Rahman. I think it was on Tuesday that the news came through that apparently the VA had been agreed. It's good that it's nearly over the line, these transfers. So for some reason nowadays seem to drag out for so long. So it's nice to get him over the line. Going to have a bit more squad depth. Hopefully by the time we play West Brom, just give Jose more options. It's probably a play we wanted. I was watching a cross. I think it was against maybe Bayern. I think it was. He put in a cross, a really, really good cross. And I thought if he can bring, I think we've been comparing it to Ashley Cole. So if he can bring some of that, if he plays a lot, then we've got a good left back on our hands.
Yeah. Tom, You happy with the prospect of him passing his medical, about to become a Blue?
I'm just glad we got someone, man. We needed a left back since we sold Luis, which
Yeah.
ended up being a bad signing, didn't it? We just needed someone. I'm glad we got someone in, man. And I've watched a little bit of him. I wasn't too excited about it, but everyone else seems to think he's a decent player, so I'll go along with that for now.
Yeah.
As long as he can cross the ball, and apparently he was the best left back in Germany last season, was he?
Apparently so, which is encouraging.
Yeah.
Very encouraging. At his age as well, he's quite young, so definitely.
And there are some good left backs out there, like Alaba. So for him to be better than them last season is a good achievement, I guess.
That's true. That's true. I'm excited. Anyway, very exciting prospect. Can't wait for him to get it started. And it'll give Ivanovic that much needed rest, because his legs are starting to really give it away. Obada says, I wouldn't start with Zuma.
I'm still a Branagh fan.
Of course, we all are.
Don't slate Branagh, come on.
No, of course not. He's a legend. He's our number 2, He says, I wouldn't start with Zuma because we won't have any good defensive midfielders on the bench in case something happens. Well, we do. We have Lord Mikel. Am I not right?
Yeah.
Lord Mikel. Metamorphosis22, what a name, says, don't you think we should change that Fabregas position? He's really hurting us defensively, not even close as aggressive as he should be playing in that position. Verratti destroyed him. Do you think we should just permanently stick him attacking mid?
He's gonna play further forward, just so he can do his stuff. We got Zuma and as the cover behind him with Matic. Let him do his stuff. We've got to be offensive too. At City, we can't just sit and.
Yeah, of course.
I don't see us parking the bus there at all. I see us having a go.
Definitely. Dan?
Yeah, I think. I like Fabregas kind of deeper because I think he's able to see passes better from deep. He's able to come in. I can understand why, especially when he's not on form. Even when he was on form last season, there were times when I thought he kind of doesn't help us out that good defensively. But yeah, pushing him more forward, maybe. One thing when Chelsea were in full flow is very good is players do cover each other's positions. You'll see Hazard will cover the left back. You'll see Oscar at some points, if he's playing, will cover Fabregas' position if he's playing on Sunday. So you get a lot of that. When they really have good communication, Chelsea players, and I hope that Fabregas, if he's going to play more forward, has a real good game on Sunday, can really control the game, look back to his best, because when he's on form, he is probably the best central midfielder in the Premier League.
Yeah. Tom?
Yeah, I think Fabregas has got. He does lack in a lot of certain things, like strength. Defensively, he's not fantastic, is he? But when he gets on the ball and he looks for that pass, there's no one better than him. So I would go along with that. I would prefer him pushed higher up the pitch than be alongside Matic. We're going to need someone defensive against, like you said, Aguero, Silva, Yaya Toure. We're going to need someone in there with Matic. He can't do it all by himself. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But yeah, I go along with that. I prefer him higher up than defensively. He's got a good pass on him.
Yeah, well, that's great. Personally, I would stick him attacking mid. If he's in defensive mid, we've seen it done before. He can pick out that crossfield ball. He can pick out that diagonal ball. He's got good vision, but I think in attacking mid, he has more to do with his creativity. He can get a look around. He can supply an assist. He can supply to the wings. He can just own that number 10 position. And I think that that is needed. That is needed. Someone asks. Oh, actually, this is coming through just now. You're gonna love this. All right, Baba Rahman is confirmed.
Oh, nice. All right, brilliant.
He's passed his medical. He just needs to sign now. Apparently, that's coming from Sky. So that's great. That's done. Exclusively here on 100% Chelsea. Say again.
What was the fee? What was the fee, Eunice? Do we know?
Not sure yet. Not sure.
Right.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. I might have to get an exclusive banner.
Apparently it was 17.5 million, I believe. I think
that's all right.
That's not
Eunice, 17.6. I said.
Exclusive. Right. Someone asks, Eunice, can we win the treble? That comes from Michael Paul.
No.
No?
Ooh.
Wow. Okay.
Do you want to know why? Because
Go on.
it's all about the strength of the bench, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, well, yeah, we can win, you know. But if you look at Jose's not really taken. I'm not saying he hasn't taken the FA Cup seriously, but you know, all right, we got taken out by Bradford, but it was pretty much the second string team, wasn't it? And
Well,
I don't
yeah.
think he took it very seriously the season before at Manchester City.
He wanted the league. You can tell he wanted the league last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, with our first 11 is quality, you know. I don't think there's any team out there that's got a better first 11 than us. It's about the strength of the bench. So you've got to have the same level on the bench. If you've got any problems with the first 11, someone slots him at the very same level.
Yeah.
It's hard to do the treble, isn't it? You know.
Very hard. Very hard. Even the
I'd
best
love
teams
us to do the
sometimes don't
treble.
need
I
one.
just think, you know.
Yeah. Daniel, can we do the treble this year?
I mean, we did the treble last year, didn't we? Youth Cup winners. No,
Yeah.
um, no, I think it will be tough. I was thinking about earlier about us doing like the Champions League. I just want to like treble or whatever. I just want a better run in the Champions League. I think personally my worst game of last season, and I know people probably feel differently about this. Tottenham and Bradford are worse, like a bad day. But I think for me the most disappointing day of the season last year was PSG at home. I
Yeah.
think being at that game,
True.
just our tactical kind of nous in that game was just all off. I mean, after Ibrahimovic went off, I didn't have. That was one game. I just had no complaints after. Most of our defeats last season, we were just the worst team, so you didn't really have any excuses. But especially that game, just the way how we were just so lax in that game, and just the way we allowed PSG with 10 men to just control the ball, it just didn't make a lot of sense. We didn't deserve to win that game, and just for normally when we have big European nights at Stamford Bridge, we turn up, you know.
True.
But that night we just didn't, and the crowd seemed a bit flat on that night. Everything was just off. So
Well,
I want a better European night, a better European challenge this year.
Yeah. Tom, can we do
Yeah.
the treble?
Well, let me just go back to that point Dan was making. I was at that game as well, and we were so close to getting through. Was it Thiago Silva scored that header like last minute, and then
Yeah.
obviously it had to be David Luiz, wasn't it, that got the eventual goal that sent us out.
Yeah.
That was a bad day. You just reminded me. I remember that. I left so upset on that day. But in terms of the treble, nothing's impossible, especially with Jose. But the squad, I feel like the squad is not as strong as it was last season. We lost some big characters as well, winners. Drogba, Czechs come out of the squad. These are Champions League winners.
Yeah.
It's hard to win that Champions League. Like Dan
It's
said,
true.
I do want to get to at least the semi-finals again. That would be good. I reckon the FA Cup, the double's on. The double's definitely on. FA Cup and Premier League is more than achievable.
For sure.
But the treble, it's going to be tough.
We need to get the FA Cup back from Arsenal.
Yeah, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
we do. We need to conquer Wembley again because I don't like it when Arsenal, Arsenal go and take the FA Cup like that. But no, you know what? I can understand why we won the Champions League when we did. And Tom makes a good point. We had a team full of winners. We had Cech in that team. We had Lampard in that team. We had Terry in that team. We had Drogba in that team.
We had the singer in that team.
We had, yeah.
It was written in the stars, though, wasn't it?
It was
You know,
that year.
you know,
It had to be
19
them.
the 19th of the 5th, 1905, when we were formed, everything about it was, I mean, the whole roller coaster, how we got away with it with Barca, home and away,
Yeah.
and
True.
final with Robin missing penalties, and,
It was meant to be. It was just meant to be.
just meant to be, wasn't it?
But this time
No.
we've got a new team, and that's why Champions League is very, very hard. Very hard. Semi-final is definitely doable, and the thing is, when you get to a semi-final, it just becomes about luck. Sometimes the best team doesn't end up winning it at that point. It's just luck. If it goes your way, it goes your way. So after that, it becomes the proper cup competition. I think the aim should be get to the semi-final, and then we can start talking about winning the Champions League. But for now, the double will be great, I reckon.
We were doing it regularly, weren't we? For a long time, always getting in the semis, and
Yeah.
we were just unfortunate last year that we played Paris, and And they were a good side, so it was an unfortunate draw, wasn't it? Really.
True, very true.
I mean, I went out over to Paris, and they were good for a win, really. But obviously we got the draw, didn't we? But and like you said, we were so close, really, to going through that tie. There was hardly anything in it, really.
Yeah, it's true, nothing at all.
And when they went down to 10 minutes, it kind of almost spurred them on, didn't it? And sort of it was almost acted against us, didn't it? It was,
yeah.
Yeah, it was very disappointing in that.
No, it's true. But fingers crossed this year we do just as well as we can. The main aim is obviously to retain. We want to retain, and anything else that comes for now is a bonus, to be fair. But before obviously we go off, because we still have a few minutes. Arsene Wenger spoke about us today. What do you make of his comments, Tom? Let's start with you.
No, don't start with me. I'll go off. Go and start with Dan.
Go on, Dan.
Yeah, I just don't really know why he's opening his mouth. I think at the start I mentioned what is he doing? I mean, I know it's like what people say about Jose, but it's just the arrogance and like the ignorance of Arsene Wenger. I just don't understand why he's opening his mouth. Why it relates to him, I don't know. If I was him, I'd be thinking of what he has to do on Sunday, because that was a bad defeat on Sunday at home to West Ham. Getting his squad in check. They still have to make a few signings. They still have to sign another striker. So and then I hear just another point that annoyed me. Wenger coming out earlier this week, and he's like, "Oh, it really annoys me that the transfer window is still open," and I'm like, but you're the sort of manager that relies on the transfer window still being open, because you don't get your squad in check by the time the season starts. So by the 31st or the 1st of September, you're out there with half an hour ago having signed Danny Welbeck. So don't give me all that crap. Don't give me all that crap about how you. But don't give me all that crap about how you. How you window being open, but he doesn't get his squad in check, and he has to go out and sign players like Danny Welbeck on the last day to save his skin, and that's the truth of it all, and he's having to do the same this season. So that's the thing that kind of irked me of what he said earlier in the week. I just didn't understand it.
Well, he also said that we have a lack of unity. Is that right? I mean, Tone.
Did you see Arsenal's fan base on Sunday after that game? Talk about unity. Did you see their fan base?
They disappeared after the 70th minute. I mean,
half of them weren't even in the stadium in the first minute. So
Yeah, well, Tone, what do you make of Wenger's comments?
There's no need for him at all, was there? I mean, I'd imagine if Mourinho had been asked a question about Wenger, if there weren't no sort of previous digs between them at that point, he'd say, well, I prefer not to talk about it, or prefer not to talk about another team or another manager or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's none of his business, is it? I mean, why make a comment? I mean, whatever he says is going to be, seen as negative and pointless. I mean, we've seen today from that conference, that press conference, he's put to bed any thoughts of non-unity. He's basically saying, we're united together, all working for the same goals, and so there was absolutely no need for him to say that.
Well,
but he does, doesn't he? And then people always say it's Jose, but like Jose's the one without the class, and then Wenger goes and.
He keeps putting fuel on the fire. And it's out
the
of
handshake
order.
one,
a good one that I want to mention is about Pellegrini, because today he made a comment that I actually like. He made a comment that I actually back him for. He said, I said the first day that I arrived here, I have my differences with Mourinho, but I always shake hands with him.
It's just a respect, isn't it? Respect level.
Wenger, take note, is it?
Yeah. Do you know what? If we beat them on Sunday, and then I hate that part of the bus, we defend, and you can guarantee he'll be coming out with, you played like a small club, all them sort of comments he can't resist comments about us normally. It is refreshing that he's come out with something that's not negative and actually is half decent, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least there's some respect there. You know, you don't have to like your opposing manager, but at least there's some respect there. You know.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. But one thing I want to mention, obviously, before we go off air, is had it been the other way around, and had it been Mourinho making a comment about Arsenal, believe me, all the papers would be going absolutely mental right now, and it'd be a headline on Sky Sports. As far as I'm concerned.
All the journalists would be like, "Why is Jose talking about Arsenal?" You know,
Yeah.
and people like that. It'd actually be like that, which I find quite ironic. You know, I don't know.
Arsenal has got no integrity, man. I feel like he's got no integrity. He's just petty. He can't control his emotions. He always has to have some sort of dig. Worry about your own team, mate. Worry about your own team. That's what I've got to say about it, man. You got problems of your own, you know what I mean?
For sure. What, you know,
Don't look like a lot of unity, though, does it, between their fans?
No, no. I
like
mean,
what you were saying, Dan.
We saw the chaos at the Emirates.
Yeah, so.
That wasn't unity. But hey, you know, he's gonna make comments. You know, let him just worry on his own team, and we'll worry with ours. That is it. But obviously now we have to wrap up. Almost heading that hour mark. We have to wrap it up. So guys, and Tom, for the first time coming on, thank you so much. It's been great. It's been a pleasure.
Nice one, Tom.
And yeah,
Cheers
Tone,
for having me,
Daniel,
guys.
no worries. Tone, Daniel, son of Chelsea. Thank you for coming on once again. Everyone that's leaving the comments, thank you so much. For everyone that's watched today at an earlier time, it has been earlier. Do apologise for that, but that's what happens when people get called into work for a night shift. You know, I'm not going to be
back to
available.
work. I've got to go back to work.
Exactly, and Tony's going back to work. So there we are. Thank you all for watching today. Be sure
What time tomorrow, Eunice? Just so people know in advance. A lot of people ask me that.
Yeah, I mean, I will update on Twitter by tomorrow morning. It might actually end up being the same time as today. I just need to find out later on, and then by tomorrow morning, I will leave it on Twitter. So do check out the social media links in the description because you'll get all the latest updates and news about when it's going to happen on Twitter. So check it out. Do check out their Twitters. Tony is at Tony 100% Chelsea. We've got Daniel at Son of Chelsea, and we've got Tom, which is at
OSF Online.
OSF
Online, or just search Big Tom Speaks.
That's the one. There we are. Check all of them out, and we'll be sure to see all of you tomorrow. Subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you are new, and have a good day, guys. Have a good evening, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Let's hope Eva and Tom Fern, all that rubbish is over. Am I right? Kill it.
Yeah.
We're done.
Leave it in the past.
We're done.
Let it go.
Take care. Exactly. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
See ya.